All right, so good morning, VAP stars! Welcome to Platinum Voices Stories of Strength and Success. I'm Riz, and I'm honored to be your host for today's special event. So, as we celebrate Women's Month, we recognize the incredible women who make VA Platinum stronger every day. Today is about sharing stories of strength, resilience, and success. We'll hear from inspiring women in our community or in our VAP community as they open up about their journeys, their challenges that they've faced, and the victories they've achieved along the way. So, this is more than just a conversation, it's a celebration of leadership, growth, and empowerment. Whether you're here to be inspired, to reflect on your own journey, or to support the amazing women around you, we are so glad to have you with us. So now let's dive in and celebrate the stories that shape VA Platinum. We have a set of wonderful speakers from the women of VA Platinum. Our first speaker is Carmel Dos Dos, VA Platinum Support Manager. Known to some as Mimi, Carmel's journey is one of resilience and determination, from overcoming financial struggles to paving the way for her siblings' success. She's a testament to hard work, faith, and perseverance. A dedicated mother and wife, Carmel or Mimi continues to inspire through her passion for making an impact. Let's give it a hand for Mimi.
Thank
Next,
you,
we
Riz.
have You're welcome, Mimi. Next, we have May Watsons, our business development manager. A devoted mom, foodie, and dedicated volunteer, May spends her time not only helping businesses grow, but also spreading joy with her therapy dog, Oakley. Together, they visit schools to provide comfort and smiles to children in need. Let's give it a hand for May. Also joining us today is Mary Me Viroy. Let's call her Mary, a valued member of our mortgage broking team. Proudly part of the LGBTQ plus community, Mary brings authenticity and dedication to everything she does. She was recently nominated as a finalist in the prestigious Better Business Awards 2025 for Best Loan Administrator, a testament to her hard work and excellence in the field. Outside of work, she's a loving fur mom to her two adorable pets. Let's give it a hand for Mary. Welcome, Mary. We also have Rochi Damoli, Senior Success Operations Manager. She's a loving wife and hands-on mother of two. Rochi finds joy in weekend adventures with her family, exploring new cafes and indulging in her passion for food and baking. She's also a strong advocate for breastfeeding, empowering fellow mothers through her journey. Thank you, Rochi, for being here. And next, we have Natasha Daniels, VA Platinum's head of client relations. Tash has worn many hats at VA Platinum, from business development manager to head of sales, and now leading client relations. She's a Pilates enthusiast, a passionate cricket and footy fan, and a Cebu loving traveler who's mastered the local stop sign for crossing the street. Let's give it a hand for Tash. And finally, we have Kathleen Ann Araneta, VA Platinum's Philippine lead. When she's not leading teams, she's indulging in her love for painting. Wow, supporting small charities with her partner or enjoying sweet treats, though she's all about the icing and skips the crust on her pizza. Oh, she's like my daughter skips the crust. Let's give them a warm welcome, our incredible speakers for today, as they share their journeys of strength and success. Now, let me quickly go over how today's webinar will flow. Okay, so we've prepared three key questions for our amazing speakers. Each of them will have the opportunity to share their insights and experiences with a time limit of 3 minutes per response. Of course, I may ask follow-up questions along the way, depending on their answers. So, to make this session even more interactive, we've also prepared live polls for our audience. So, keep an eye out for those and make sure to participate. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. So, let's make this an engaging and insightful conversation. Now, let's get started. All right. Now, can we share our first question? All right, the first question is, can you share a challenge you faced that turned out to be a defining moment in your journey? Right? Again, can you share a challenge you faced that turned out to be a defining moment in your journey? All right. So the audience wants to hear from Tash first. Go ahead and share your journey, Tash.
Thanks, Riz. Morning, everybody. Hi, team. So that's an interesting one because I feel like I've been very lucky in my career to not have too many major challenges. However, something that probably defined where I am now is I'd always worked in big corporate organizations. And I left the big corporates and went and worked for a smaller business. So it was an accounting firm where I was looking after their financial planning and mortgage broking teams. And it was run by men, all men. All the shareholders were
Wow.
men. And I was the only senior woman in the team. And that had challenges. At times I had to be the bloke, had to be a top bloke and, talk to men at a men level. But at other times, when I had to sort of try and get a point across, I had to use lots of different techniques to be heard or
Mm.
seen. But again, within that though, it was a great opportunity for those men in particular to understand that, everybody has a place, everybody has strengths, everybody has something to give. And yeah, it was a really interesting place, but I learned so much. I worked so hard when I was there and I learned so much. And what I've learned from that experience, at times it was quite hard, but it set me up for what I do now. And I'll be forever grateful for that time.
Thank you for sharing that, Tash. Brian Jones actually commented here. He said you would be able to talk about cars better than all the other men. Wow.
Yeah, I do have a passion for cars.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that inspiring journey, Tash. I really appreciate that. Now, let's have Mimi Carmel.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Um, a transformative moment in my career came when, back in my previous employer, when I was asked to facilitate a certain module in our new joiner orientation. And part of that is a very impactful question on how do you want to be remembered? So
Mm.
that question sparked a desire in me to make a meaningful impact and to be really accountable for my actions. That was a defining moment. And that mindset was put to the test when, as a project manager, there was this one incident wherein I failed to big time. And I admit that. I failed big time and a very critical piece of information that I missed to flag my manager. Realizing my mistake, at that very instant I felt fear and regret. Very common reaction. But I knew then that taking full responsibility was the only way forward. I openly acknowledged that oversight, holding myself accountable for the risk. So while when was having conversation with my manager and it was very uncomfortable, we know that when these things happen, my manager's understanding response taught me the value of transparency and accountability, even in very difficult situations. So that lesson from that experience, combined with the drive to learn, to leave a positive impact and legacy, going back to that question, how do you want to be remembered? Mimi, how do you want to be remembered? So that reinforced the importance of integrity and transparency in leadership, principles that I hope and I try my best. I remind myself every single day to apply to my work and in my dealings and relationship with all of you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Ray.
Mimi. You know what? I can relate. Brian Jones can also relate to my experience. Well, in a way, I think that's the reason why you're in VA Platinum, Mimi, because all those integrity and excellent value that you should really have when you're working, not just in your personal life, but even in the your working floors, right? So now let's have Mary.
Yeah, this was just a recent event that I had that this was during when I found out a large lump or cyst on my right ovary.
Mm, mm,
So at first, I really thought that I was healthy and don't have any abnormalities, or I haven't felt any like pain before. So even my menstruations are regular and normal. I haven't had any delays. So what happened was this was a year ago when I joined this marathon. It was my first time joining a marathon. I'm not really a runner or athletic. So before the run, I do this regular jog just to condition my body before the big event. And then during this period, I already felt like a mild pain in the abdomen. But I thought it was normal because when I Googled it and asked Dr. Google, it was just a normal pain that runners feel after a run, like a muscle pain. But yeah, I just shrug it off. And then the big event happened, the run. And when I reached the finish line, several minutes after, I felt this excruciating pain that made it difficult for me to walk normally or even breathe and move. So I went to the doctor, and then I found out this big lump on my right ovary, and then I was told that I need to go on operation because it might be too late. It's 21 centimeters, so it's about like a newborn child head, that big. Yeah, 21 centimeter, and they need to do a test to see if it's cancerous or not. So, and in order to do that is to extract the lump. So yeah, during that time it was really dark for me. Like I felt like I was at my lowest point. So I felt extremely terrified and anxious, not to the procedure, but to the thought of what will happen next if it will be cancerous, then, I could die from it. It might be too late. So yeah, but good news is operation was successful and the tumor was just 100% not cancerous. So yeah, thank God. And during that time, it somehow actually changed me in a way that made me more appreciative of what I have, with everything I have, with all the support that I got, and also with the people around me. So you won't realize, or people don't realize, how they could lift up someone or help someone just by doing simple things like saying hello, hi, asking how are you. You don't know how this would affect people's, mindset, or maybe it could give hope to someone to fight in life. So yeah, that for me is like a really defining moment. And I'm very thankful to VAP as well, to all the support that I received from VAP.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for sharing that inspiring and very courageous story of yours. A comment here from B. Katsunao. She said, Mary, you are so brave and we're proud of you. Yes, we are. We all are proud of you. Thank you so much. When it comes to health, ladies, I know I think that's the most important thing that we need, because we how can we work for our loved ones if, our health is not that good, or if we're, not that healthy. So I do understand that. Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing that
Sure,
story.
thank you.
Next, we have Kat Araneta.
Hey everyone. Same question, I suppose.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Meme. It kind of opened a space and gave me confidence to actually share something personal too, because I think it's the toughest so far, and I hope it stays there. Yeah, for me, the toughest in the last many years of life was actually losing a loved one when I think, that time I was at the peak of my career, and, you gotta keep pushing forward. So it was our youngest brother. So 13 years ago, it was a vehicular accident. So, it's quite a surprise type of death. As you know, things like this, when it happens, you got to juggle two completely different worlds. What you have on one hand, you're kind of dealing with pain and the grief, but on the other, when you get to work, right, you're trying to be that strong leader, maintain your focus, and of course, you're at the peak of your career. You want to keep up with all your professional goals. Yeah, it can feel like really you're going through all the emotions, especially when everything feels heavy. But at the same time, there's this pressure. You cannot allow it to slow you down. So I think what I learned, that's the next question, right?
Yes.
So what I learned, I guess the thing is sometimes you just really have to put one foot in front of the other, even if it feels like you're running on empty. Yeah. And it's really okay to take small steps when you find that circle of friends in outside work, it's important because this is a time where when you really need their support, because it's important to find support where and when you can. And of course, don't forget yourself. You got to give yourself space to process the loss. I didn't give myself enough time, to be honest, and it backfired. I think after 6 months or even a year. So that balance is really hard though. But and you can feel like you're carrying so much, but you don't want to fall behind in your career either, right? So again, it's all about finding that rhythm between personal grief and professional demands. And of course, it's not easy, but just keep pushing forward and finding ways how to push forward or move forward. And it's really okay, even if it's slower at times. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I have
Thank
a
you.
brother. No, you all know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. You know what? I don't really want to comment because I might get teary-eyed. But yeah, that's us women, right? We want people to see us like we are strong. Like we can't, but you know what? We really need to give ourselves a time to grieve. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kat, for sharing us that lesson that you have learned. Now, next,
Yeah, girl power. Sorry.
girl
Okay, carry on.
power. Thank you, Kat. All right, now let's have May.
Oh, how do I go forward with all these amazing stories?
I know, right?
Okay, I'm going to share with you guys, and this is quite personal, and I don't usually talk about it, and never. It's been a while. My son's 13 years old, as some of you guys know, and being a first-time mum and an older mum, after having him, I went through a fair bit of postnatal depression. As some mums, you understand it's a whole new change. You don't get enough sleep. You don't understand what this kid's doing. Why is he not eating? All of that kind of stuff. It takes a toll on you. Still trying to be the mum that you are, cleaning the houses you are, cooking, being the wife and the person that you are as well. So that was huge. And I don't want to talk about it because it upsets me, but I did take the first step. And I think you all need to take the first step in acknowledging that there is an issue mentally, and you need to take the first steps to go and sort yourself out. Yeah, so that's a big thing. That's what I would take out of this for you guys. For any of the women out there, if there's something wrong, just take the first steps. So that's something that I've never spoken to a lot about, but yeah, here I am opening up. I'm going to stop.
I hate you, May. You made us all cry. We were actually
so
stopping
sorry.
trying to not cry. But that's okay. Yes. Tash, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I do, and I think I was giving you some space, Riz, for you to get yourself together as well. And we, May's nickname for us is we call her Auntie May, from her Singaporean background, where everyone's an auntie. But ladies, this is very real, and young mums, older mums, might not even have to be a mum. But the fact that you can acknowledge that something's not right and reach out, and it's funny when you start to talk to people and share some of your feelings and experiences, you learn that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And even just listening today, Mary, your health issues, I know I've had similar ones, so as other people in our teams. We've all had some very similar experiences, but I think one thing we do really well as women is lean on each other and talk about it and share. And, we don't judge each other. We all come at it from a slightly different angle, but being brave to share how you feel is huge. And I know, May, that's not easy for you. So thank you for sharing
able
that.
to take that first step for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
important because you have to do it, not somebody else. You have to take the first step to go and talk to someone, go talk to your doctor, or take that first steps to get through that. So
Yeah.
that's important. You have to do it. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be selfish, ladies. You got to look after yourself before you can look after the others.
So true.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tash and May. That is really a reminder that somebody says here, we listen and we don't judge. Mario. Yeah, it's a reminder for all of us ladies. The first thing that we really need to, I know it's the hardest way or the hardest step is to always admit it to ourselves. That's the first and hardest step. Admitting it that we really need help, that we really need to share these things, because not at all times that we're strong, but that's okay. No, right? Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the tears.
Get embarrassed to show those tears, Riz,
Yes.
Doesn't make us less of a person if we show them that we too get hurt and we cry
Yes,
a lot.
exactly. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
definitely, cry, it's totally okay to cry
Mm-hmm.
when you feel
Correct.
like it. It doesn't make you weak, guys. It only means you're real.
Yes,
Yes,
So,
you're human.
exactly.
oh, yeah, 100%.
Thank you. Rochi, you're the last for
Oh,
this, the
oh
last
my.
woman standing now. Don't let us cry, okay?
Oh, I'll try to not. But I think for me, I'm not sure if everyone knows. But yes, I have two children, right? The 6-year-old and 11 month. And at the same time, I have a husband who's not at his prime when we talk about health. So, okay. So I think for me, and also wanting to navigate through growth in my career at the same time and managing my family has been one of the challenges that I face on a day-to-day basis. And some of the people that I work with actually ask me, "How do you do it?" And I'm just like, I think I just go through and get my energy from the love that I receive from my children, the love that I receive from the people that I work with, from my family, from my friends. And it's just really pushing myself to still grow, still look after myself in the sense that I look after my health, I look after the career path that I want for myself, but at the same time, give my children, ensure them that the love and attention is still theirs, and at the same time still be able to show up at work and make sure that I bring 100% on a day-to-day basis. So the experience overall, for me, it's just really taught me that success isn't everything. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as women, as what May said, take that step. Right? Prioritize what truly matters, embrace flexibility, and be contented that in a day to day basis, may it be in your personal or in your career, you took a step forward for growth for you, for your family, and for the people that you work with. So, yeah, I think for me, that's my defining moment, Chris. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Rochi. Well, somebody has a comment here. Tina, she said, people cry not because they're weak. It's because they've been strong for too long. Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you very much. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you. That's
You.
awesome. Actually, my students know me. I'm a big crier as well. So sorry for that, guys. All right. Well, thank you. There you go. We're done with the first round, and
So,
the first round has been
did
so
anybody
crying,
see
crying
me at
moment.
Christmas party last year when I cried
Yes,
when I
we
said
saw
goodbye?
you. Yeah.
I'm a big crier. Don't worry.
All right. Well, now let's go with let's go ahead and have our poll. Let's have poll number one. Okay. The first question is, what's the biggest challenge women face in leadership roles? Is that A, gender bias and stereotypes? B, balancing work and personal life? C, lack of mentorship and opportunities? Or D, pay gap and career progression barriers?
Look, I think that, all of those ones that showed up on the poll there on the screen, they're all relevant for different people at different times, right? And I think depending on your own home life, depending on the support around you, both at work and at home, these things will show in different ways at different times. And I think it's about how you handle them, front on. And so for me, I think it's, when the balance of work and life starts to get out of whack, you have to put your hand up, exactly like what May was saying before. You have to put your hand up and say, guys, I'm not right now. Like, I can't do it all. Something's going to give. And usually it's your health if you keep trying to do everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Brian and David were very generous with me probably about a year ago when I just said, I just need some time. And by talking about it and being open and acknowledging it, which is exactly what you said, May, it allowed me to get that balance back. So I think it's going to be different for everybody in these one things. And I think at different stages of your career and your work life, some of these will show more than others, depending on the organization and the people around you. But I don't think there's any one thing that is really obvious for me. I think I've got experienced all of these different things at different times.
Thank you for sharing that, Tash. Does anybody else in the panelists want to share?
Mm,
Right now,
I
yeah,
I
go,
would,
May.
sorry, working in a mortgage broking industry, it's also a very big male-dominated industry. Going through mortgage broking, dealing with aggregators, dealing with BDM and stuff like that. I have had men come up to me, brokers, and say, "How old are you? You're too young to be in this industry." I know I look young, but yeah, that's a huge stereotype, and we all do. As women, we all do look young, and that's something that we have to overcome. But what we should do is empower women to support women. Yeah, that's a one big thing that I'm a very big advocate for. When I was at Connective, we used to always have the women empowerment sessions. We used to do stuff together as a big woman, and some of my women brokers are really good friends from the times that they all got together. So as you know, a lot of my clients are women with us, and yeah, it's awesome to see. So we do need to support us, and we need to empower us.
Thank you.
That's all
Thank
I
you
want
for
to say.
sharing, May. Now I'm gonna share the results for our poll. Actually, they also answered the second question for the poll, but let's just focus first on the first question. So 57% of the attendees mentioned balancing work and personal life. I think this has been, it's quite related with what Tash and May are actually talking about, like balancing work and personal life. And also gender bias and stereotypes. That's the second one. So that's what May has mentioned earlier. And yeah, 10 out of 37 attendees answered gender bias and stereotypes. All right. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts to our dear audience. All right. Now I think let's go to the next question. For our second question, if you could change one thing about how women are perceived in the workplace or society, what would it be? I'd like to start with Kat.
After you, no, just kidding. My view is somewhat related to the winner of the previous poll, to be honest. We don't have that in VA Platinum, and I would love to say I'm lucky that I haven't experienced that too in my two other let's say previous employers. But in general, in across all industries and across the globe, definitely is a gender bias. Yeah, not in VA Platinum workplace, but I would say in general. Yeah. I liked the line that May share that us and for workplaces with such, I think one thing we can do is focus on our controllables.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, which is women. Let's empower women. Let's empower each other, supporting each other, right? So yeah.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much. Let's have Mary to answer the second question.
Well, what I think this would relate to the poll answer, like balancing work and personal life, because
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that I would like to be changed is regarding work equality, mostly in the household setting. So I'm not saying that this is still prevalent in, in the city, but I can see, I know there is some specific household or some places wherein they still have this cultural belief that men is the one to will
Provide.
be the one to provide, and
Mm-hmm.
women should stay at home, take care of the house and the children, which is for me is very unfair. Well, I don't know woman that dreams to be housewife, but yeah, this kind of setting will limit and contain women and not being able to do what they want freely or they're passionate about. So, and I think this will also contribute to the social and the behavioral development of a woman. So, in order to empower women, they should start in the household. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. Who of you here would agree from the panelists?
Yes.
Yes. Totally. I don't, yes, of course, I want to be hands-on with my child, with my daughter, but I also want to, empower myself. Because no way, I can't just stay at home 24/7. I've got to, develop my skills as well, enhance my skills, right? Would you agree, ladies? Who among you here who would
Absolutely.
really just
Yeah.
want to, right? Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Des says here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Now let's have Carmel. Mimi.
Thanks, Riz. Also relates to the second answer, which is eh, related to cats, the gender biases.
Mm.
There is this idea that women must be likable to earn respect. Sorry, Brian, and all the great men in this call, but men are often celebrated for being as assertive, strong, right? Um, but when women show the same qualities, they're often labeled as difficult. Ouch. So for me, it's time to embrace guys, strong, confident, independent women leading without expecting us to soften our approach just to fit in and be accepted. And I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mimi. This is like Miss Universe.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you. Who would agree to Mimi? Yes, I
100%.
definitely would agree. Right. So yeah, thank you. JM says reminds me of Miranda Priestley's character.
Exactly, JM. Yeah, the devil wears Prada, but in our case, we only wear um what Teresa here is making comments. Sarok. Yes, in that movie, she showed strength, assertiveness, but it was taken negatively. No,
Mm,
that it was taken oppositely. So rather than the empowering qualities that define Miranda's success. So, yep, truly
yeah.
agree, JM.
Thank you, JM. Now let's have May.
I think I would like something to be changed is that our voices get heard.
Mm,
Sometimes our voices get lost among the organization as the bigger it gets and stuff like that as women and stuff, or we're not taken seriously. Yeah, just something that if we could get heard, that would be great. And I agree with everybody that you guys said.
yeah. Were there chances that May, this is a follow-up question. Were there chances in your life that you felt like you were not heard?
So
Like,
many.
oh, okay.
Yeah, in organizations, sometimes you want to change, in previous organizations and stuff like that, you want to do stuff and you want to change, and it's like it gets put on the back burner, or so
Yes,
a
exactly.
lot. Yeah, definitely. I think if you push hard enough, you will get hurt. Yeah.
Yes. And that's actually I would really agree with what May has mentioned. But it's a good thing though that we are now living in the last days, the last days. Because a lot of changes has come, right? Like, and that's actually empowering us as well. All right. Now, Rochi, we want to hear from you.
So if I could change one thing, I think it would be the misconception about women, especially mothers, that we are less committed to either our career or motherhood when we try to balance both. So women have been great mothers, exceptional leaders, as you can see here in the screen, great leaders, professionals, and yet are devoted mothers for parents, elder sisters, and all that, right? So I'm just lucky, to be honest, because it might not be common in society, or in the it's not yet for everyone, that is. But the thing here is, in VA Platinum, I felt that I found a place where I get to be recognized and supported for both my career growth and me being present and available for my children and my family. So we're just the lucky fews, right? And even us leaders, we've had a number of conversations with our clients, making sure that even our VAs, right, are heard in such a way and perceived in such a way that even if you're mothers, they can still give their 100% in everyday work. So yeah, I think that's for me, Riz.
Thank you. Thank you, Rochi. And lastly, we'll have Tash.
Thanks, Riz. I'm really aligned with what Mimi said. And at the end of the day, we can't control what people think about us.
Yeah.
You know, people will have their own thoughts. We can't control what people think. We can only control our own actions and how we react. And so within that, you know, being true to yourself, being true to, you know, as a leader of a team, you know, like one big thing for me is I always make sure I back my team. You know, I always, you know, I'll go in and back hard for my team when I know they've done the right thing. Now, that might come across as, you know, something not great in front of somebody else's eyes, but that doesn't matter because I know I'm being true to myself. And people's perceptions will change over time as they know the true you. And, you know, and if you are being difficult, well, you're being difficult because you're trying to achieve something because we're all here to achieve. We're all at, you know, we've got a very flat structure, and anybody that was worked with me will know that we have a very flat structure. Nobody is more senior or more important than anybody. If we're all trying to go somewhere as a business and we're all here working in a business to try and get to our goal and our vision, we've all got a role to play. My role is no less important than Kat's role, and Kat's role is no more important than Mary's role. Because unless we're all doing our roles, we're not going to achieve as a business, as a team, and as a unit. So, you know, if that means you're perceived as difficult along the way because you're asking the tough questions or expecting something different, it's okay, girls. It's okay to be perceived that way. Just control your reactions, know that you're doing it for the right reasons. And I think to me, that's probably the biggest thing about perceptions. You can't control what people think, so don't let it worry you. Stay true to yourself.
Thank you, Tash. I like that. Being true to yourself is the most important thing that you can empower yourself as well. Nobody is going to lift you up, but only you. And that's why you have to stop thinking about what others would say as long as you know you're doing the right thing. Thank you, Tash. I really like that. Okay, now our second poll. Can we share the second poll? The question is, what's the most important trait for a successful woman? So the options are resilience, adaptability, strong communication skills, and confidence. Now, 48% from our attendees answered resilience. And the next to that is 24% goes to confidence. Thank you so much for all those who answered our poll today. So, resilience, what do you think, ladies? What do you think about their answers? Number one is resilience. Who wants to share? How about Rochi?
Resilience. Yeah, I would say so. Given what I've shared, right? Resilience is really more on being able to recover, right? Not every day is perfect, definitely for us, right? We go through challenges through our personal and our career lives on a day-to-day basis. I know you guys feel it, right? Women, men, all together. But it's really our ability to be able to bounce back, right? Bounce back and then regain that, let's say 30% or 40% that you've lost the day prior, for us to regain that. And how do we regain that? Up to you, right? What motivates you on a day-to-day basis? What gives you that energy? As what I told my husband yesterday, oh, I miss my kids. I just went through so much today. I just need a hug. And that hug, definitely from my nonchalant 11-month-old that just really has stares, and my very overreactive son, when I came home, just filled up that battery for me. So that's why I'm here another day to be a mom, to be a senior success manager for PAC. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Rochi. Now, I wanted to ask you more about the poll, right? But we only have 10 minutes left. So I want to continue with the last question. And this is like a parting message for all of us. So let's stick with 2 minutes
Okay.
time, okay? So the last question is, what's your go-to mantra or leadership philosophy? I would want to start with Mary.
The strongest for me will be I believe I can do anything and achieve anything I set my mind to. So, yeah, this is just all about the foundation of success in believing in yourself and embracing that ambiguity and embracing all the new things, all the learnings, and yeah, and don't let any negativity hold you back. So, with that, any goals or any, any goals that you want is just within reach.
Thank you, Mary. All right. We have May next.
This is my big mantra, and I use this a lot. It is what it is. We cannot control everything. We can only control what we can control. And if it doesn't work, it is what it is. Just gotta move on.
Thank you, May. I love that. Rochi.
For me, I think it's more or less the same as what May said, but for me, it's grace over guilt, progress over perfection. So,
Wow.
as a professional and as a mom, right, it's really impossible to do everything at once. But I feel that an everyday reward is that I step forward, and that's what matters, right? For me, that's what matters, that I step forward and that I empower others. I'm adaptable and I lead with empathy with the people that I work with. So that's both for the workplace and at home. Yeah,
Thank
so
you,
great over guilt.
Rochi. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you, Rochi. Now let's have Mimi.
Thanks, Riz. My go-to leadership philosophy is very simple. How I treat people when no one is watching says more than any strategy ever will. So, because for me, it's about respect, integrity, and building trust, especially in the quiet moments, especially in those moments when you're out of spotlight and your true character is revealed. I witnessed this personally in one of my colleagues in the past, and it was one of the aha moments when that person was treating differently an employee of the company that's the not not a an officer level, and that hit home. So yeah, and this I mean, guys, thank you for inviting me. You said include the parting words.
Yes.
This is one of the memorable experiences I've had here in VAB. I'll be turning 1 year in the next month. And thank you for this experience. Thank you for allowing me to share it with you today.
Thank you,
Nice.
Mimi, and congratulations on your first year in VAP. Now let's have Kat.
We made it, me. Not yet, but a month more. A month batch mate. Thank you. I think it's a very good question. Guys, I'm not a really I'm not a bookworm, but I read books. And so one thing that was shared to me by my previous mentor was, a book of Patrick Lin, what's that? Lencioni, if you're familiar. So he's got this, book that says something about three virtues for an effective lead. Yeah. And every time I remember, I try to live, those virtues. So technically, one is humility. No matter what you reach, what you have become, it's very good to always stay grounded. We're not perfect. We get mad. Come on, with all the pressure at work and life, I don't know anyone who doesn't get fed up and really, have that face. But, whenever you can, it's always good to stay humble, regardless of, again, what you have achieved in life. And second would be, to stay hungry, which means not food, but I know food is life. But stay hungry, meaning, no matter what you have become, you're so great, experience, whatever. It's good to stay hungry for more learning, more experience. You crave for new stuff, new challenges. And lastly, technically be smart. So being smart it's not about having having high IQ. It's not about that, but rather having high emotional intelligence. The smarts that we call, where you get to talk to different kinds of people at work, different level of folks that you work with. That emotional intelligence that allow you to connect with people and carry the message to them, wise, and of course everything that will build a very good, I would say, relationship in and outside work. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Now, lastly, we have Tash.
Thanks. What a session, girls. Well done. So I think there's a couple of mantras that I work through personally, and BJ, you know this, probably seek forgiveness rather than ask approval on a few occasions. Whoopsie. But you know, it's about backing yourself. If you think if you believe in what you're doing, and if you believe there's a pathway forward, then you know you have to back yourself. And so that's a big thing. But for me, from a team perspective and a leadership perspective, trust is implied with me. You know, when you start working with me, I will trust you from day one until you break that trust. And for me, that's really important, because I think that is what then builds the foundations for opening up beautiful communication, being able to share insights, you know, leverage each other's strengths, support each other's weaknesses, etc. So I know often people say you have to earn trust, but for me, in my leadership style, it's very much I give you my trust from day one. If you break it, then Miranda Priestley comes out. But in all seriousness, though, because I feel like that is the way that I can bond with my team and bond a team together. So that's been my leadership approach, and always being open and willing to learn and share. But Riz, thank you for today. You've done an amazing job. And I know Des behind the scenes there, you've set up this session as well. Really appreciate the work you ladies have done in pulling us all together. And our panelists today, you're all beautiful ladies, and everybody out there with your comments, thank you. It really is special when we've been seeing them flicking up on the screen. It means a lot, some of these beautiful words that you've been sharing. But, you know, we can share them with each other at any time. We don't need a forum like this just to share these beautiful words. So next time you see someone in the pantry, or you're going to grab, you know, you're heading out to grab a coffee and you see someone in the coffee line, make sure you stop and, you know, say hi and appreciate everybody's good things. But particularly Des, Riz, thank you, ladies. You've done an amazing job today.
Thank you. Thank you, Tash. Now, wow, what a great webinar we have today. I'm surrounded with powerful women, successful women who empowers women as well. That is a very inspiring session. Now, to our incredible speakers, Carmel, May, Mary, Rochi, Tash, Kat, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Your stories of resilience, success, and strength are a testament of the power of perseverance, passion, and community. As we celebrate Women's Month, let today be a reminder that every challenge we overcome, every success we achieve, and every story we share has the power to inspire someone else. Whether in our careers, our personal lives, or the small everyday moments, we each have a voice that matters. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for being part of Platinum Voices, Stories of Strength and Success. I hope you walk away feeling empowered, motivated, and proud to be a part of a workplace that values and celebrates the
Yeah.
incredible women in our community. Have a fantastic rest of your day, VAP stars, and happy weekend, everyone.